With The Walking Dead finally wrapped up, fans of the hit series are in for a treat with several spin-offs which may answer some of the show's hanging questions. And for today's episode, we'll be talking about how Daryl's Walking Dead spin-off may set up Rick's phone mystery. Plus, get to know how this spin-off will break away from the franchise formula. Only here in today's video, so keep watching for more. In today's video, we'll discuss what might happen in Daryl Dixon's impending Walking Dead spin-off series and how it can help explain Rick Grimes' iPhone significance in the show. Details about Daryl Dixon indicate that the show is in an excellent position to explain the significance of Rick's phone in The Walking Dead. The phone featured in The Walking Dead Season 10 is the subject of one of the mysteries surrounding Rick's disappearance. It was introduced as the narrative device that clued Michonne into Rick's survival. It's believed that the phone plays a secret role in the plot because it's been noticed twice now. Michonne's discovery that Rick is still alive was revisited unexpectedly in the Walking Dead series finale. Rick's appearance revealed the event that led to Michonne's discovering his stuff on the boat. As it turned out, Rick swiftly hid his luggage and phone aboard the boat before being surrounded by CRM soldiers. His rushed attempt to conceal his belongings adds to the evidence that the phone has something to do with the greater tale the franchise has in mind for Andrew Lincoln's character. So in Daryl's upcoming spin-off, we could finally see the use of Rick's phone. Whether or not it is more important than what is already known may not be explicitly expressed in the Walking Dead series until Rick and Michonne's untitled spin-off, but Daryl Dixon will provide an early opportunity to make sense of it. Due to the lack of technology and functioning cell towers in a post-apocalyptic setting, an iPhone would ordinarily appear to be worthless. However, it is clear that Daryl's program will be far more sophisticated than what viewers have come to expect from The Walking Dead, shows set in North America. According to reports, a character in Daryl Dixon runs an underground nightclub and a black market. Both of these societal institutions would feel out of place in any of the previous Walking Dead programs, which speaks something about how different the world is in Europe, where Daryl is headed. If there are still locations where technology luxuries like phones aren't utterly useless, Rick's decision to leave his iPhone behind wouldn't seem so strange, given that this represents one of the most significant components of a civilization lost during the zombie apocalypse. The long-distance communication capabilities that come with this idea would be a game changer for so many people. The inability to communicate has to do a lot with how isolated everyone is. Most characters in the Walking Dead universe are unaware of what is going on outside of their own group. Not only could we see the use of Rick's phone in the spin-off, but it could also set up a reunion for the cast of The Walking Dead. The ability to communicate at such a high level may pave the way for a long-awaited The Walking Dead reunion. Daryl's quest in his future series may or may not involve Rick, but finding him remains one of his objectives. Developments in Daryl Dixon's and Rick and Michonne spin-offs could pave the way for the characters to cross paths and find a road back to each other. Daryl is the current guardian of Rick's children and one of the persons most affected by Rick's kidnapping, so it seems important for both characters to reconcile before either of their stories concludes. Moving forward, let's talk about how Daryl's upcoming spin-off will stray away from its predecessor's franchise formula in a big way. The Walking Dead universe is expanding with the upcoming spin-off of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. The new series will not only have Norman Reedus embarking on his own quest, but it will also depart from the franchise template in terms of setting. According to Deadline, this highly anticipated spin-off will really take place in France, revealing a new side of the apocalyptic world we've been witnessing for over a decade. This is the first major Walking Dead series to be set outside of North America. The main series spent the majority of its duration in the southeast as Rick and his party of survivors made their way across Georgia to Virginia, making it as far as Washington, D.C., before landing in Commonwealth Territory, Ohio. Fear the Walking Dead premiered in Los Angeles before moving on to post-apocalyptic Mexico and, eventually, Texas. While World Beyond alluded to what was going on in France, it sent its protagonists throughout the United States rather than overseas. Daryl Dixon will also not be the Daryl and Carol spinoff that many hoped for after Melissa McBride left the show. Instead, the new series will introduce two new characters who will accompany Daryl on his adventure across the Atlantic. According to Deadline, Clemence Poisy will play Isabelle, a member of progressive religious group who joins forces with Daryl on a journey across France and finds herself confronting her dark past in Paris. Adam Negaitis will play Quinn, a displaced Brit who has become powerful in a post-apocalyptic Paris as a black marketeer and the owner of the Demi Monde, a sexy underground underground nightclub. The Daryl and Carol spinoff was supposed to be a round-trip drama with the two of them going to see who's left in the world, before McBride decided against it. Rita suggested in a 2020 interview with Den of Geek that a revolving collection of characters will be introduced when Daryl and Carol visited new locals. According to Isabel's character description, the series appears to be continuing the road trip components with Isabel as Daryl's new travel companion. There's also an interesting trivia about Quinn's nightclub's name, Demi-Monde, which translates to half-world in French and alludes to a group of people on the outskirts of respectable society in English. In other words, it's an appropriate name for a club in a post-apocalyptic setting. Daryl isn't the first person who comes to mind when you think of an underground Parisian nightclub, so it'll be intriguing to watch how his trip connects with Quinn's. These new characters also reveal the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon will differ from the original season and how Daryl's trip to France may unfold. According to the post-credits sequence in The Walking Dead Planet Beyond, French scientists appear to be the origin of the zombie pandemic that wiped out most of the world. Perhaps Isabel's dark history and new life as a religious group member are connected. Fear and shame are what push people to the post-apocalyptic faiths. Or if Daryl doesn't learn of Rick's survival in the TWD series finale, he'll discover it through Quinn's underground network. Whatever happens with Daryl's spinoff, shifting his tale from the United States to France opens up so many opportunities for expanding the Walking Dead universe, while still giving Daryl the standalone story he deserves. It will be intriguing to watch how the zombie apocalypse affected a huge metropolitan metropolis like Paris and how these new personalities continue to exist despite the end of the world. In other related news, did you know that Norman Reedus asked for one big change for his character Daryl in the spinoff? So keep watching if you want to know what this is. Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead, has been a fan favorite in the show over the years. Even while Daryl was the first cast in the shadow of his brother Merle, it didn't take long for viewers to realize that Daryl is more than simply a zombie killer. He is a devoted and sensitive individual who is responsible for Daryl's intriguing character development. Aside from the showrunners, writers, and producers, Reedus appears to have had a significant influence on the direction of his character in the series. Reedus gave a lengthy speech to the writers following the death of Daryl's brother Merle in Season 3 about how he wanted Daryl to become his own person and not just a mini Merle. The actor didn't want Daryl to be racist and misogynistic like his brother was, telling Variety that he got to truly create Daryl on his own, and it felt amazing to contribute. Whereas Merle was a clear outcome of their terrible upbringing, Reedus genuinely wanted Daryl to have a heart and moral compass despite growing up in a horrific and bigoted environment. Because Daryl was developed significantly for the Walking Dead TV show and does not have a comic book equivalent, Reedus and the Walking Dead's creative team have a bit more of a leeway in exploring the character without alienating devoted fans. However, that doesn't imply Reedus and the filmmakers always agreed on Daryl. I remember shortly after my boots touched the gravel on set, Norman approached me to immediately talk about a story point. Scott Gimple, the producer of the show, told Variety in an interview. It was kind of intense conversation right off the bat because we weren't in agreement. Despite their contrasting perspectives on Daryl, Gimple quickly recognized Reedus' passion and dedication to his character. Who knows what Daryl would look like today if Reedus hadn't stood up for him in the early days of The Walking Dead, or if he'd even be alive. According to Gimple, the Daryl Dixon we know today would not exist without Norman Reedus. He's not suggesting Norman is Daryl, but he is his character share a complicated blend of youth, immaturity, guardedness, and kindness, strength, and wit. It's no surprise that Daryl is so liked given Reedus' great portrayal and the obvious care he's shown for his character since the beginning. In terms of Daryl's future of The Walking Dead and onto his spin-off series, Reedus says he feels like he birthed this child and no one can tell him when it's over. The actor stated that he wants to see whether or not it has a happy ending. While Daryl's story does not look to be coming to an end anytime soon, it's comforting to know that the character is in capable hands wherever this journey may take him. With that, we're wrapping up today's episode about the thing we know about Daryl's Walking Dead spinoff. What do you hope to see in the upcoming series? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching today's video, and before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. See you next time, and thanks for watching.